Welcome to the Atari ST show. I'm your good buddy, your good pal, and handsome man about town, Amigo Aaron, joined by a fellow who puts the ST in... He puts the ST in... I gotta say it.
Stupendous!
I was gonna say stud. Please sit back and soak in the BRENT.
Hey, how's it going?
It's been better, man. I've been up for like 40 hours, but by God, you can't hold me back from a little Atari ST action, brother.
Oh, I'll bet we could.
Maybe so, man.
Few stun gun shots, man. You're not going to want to play ST at all.
Yeah, I understand, but now listen, I'm excited about this one because you've got a medieval setting, and you've got lots of weird medieval creatures.
And you get to play as yourself.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no kidding. And you've got a lot of action to win the hand of the maiden, the daughter of the king. But before we get into the game, you know, this is, so let's face fact, this is a hackneyed tale that's in this game. We've heard it before, you know. But, you know, I look back at all the medieval, because medieval is a popular target.
Oh, yes.
In the realm of fantasy, in the realm of movies, in the realm of books. Is there a particular favorite, maybe even a guilty pleasure you have that is what you would consider a fantasy genre film, somewhere along the lines of the Rescue the Fair Maiden gimmick?
What is the movie that has the guy from Highlander?
Okay. Highlander?
Yeah, Sean Connery.
Oh my God, you can remember his name?
It's set in King Arthur's court.
Yeah.
Help me out here. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get destroyed later. Anyway, yes, the movie Excalibur. Thank you. Great movie.
How did you forget that?
I've been up for 40 hours.
Oh, would you shut up with that?
But it's great. It's a fun movie. Well, actually, it's a horribly depressing movie for a lot of it. But it's a fun movie. Of course, you've got your Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You've got your all of your medieval joke movies.
Yeah.
Your Robin Hood spin-off things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very well-traveled genre, if you will.
Yeah. I'm going to go with one that no one talks about anymore, hardly. I don't think. And it was kind of weird, a weird film. But it was a Tom Cruise vehicle from way back. I believe it was called Legend, was the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
And the best part of that film was, what are you talking about now? That it had a weird, Yes-inspired soundtrack. Who doesn't like Yes? Everybody does.
I'm going to guess anyone from the medieval period.
Yeah, and then you've also got, I believe this is the same film that had Tim Curry as the bad guy. Tim Curry. No?
Apparently the answer was First Night.
The answer, well, First Night is a different film. That's not what I'm talking about. Have you never seen Legend? Tim Curry's the big demon.
I know what you're talking about, yes. No, it's fine.
What do you mean? I mean, that's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Oh, okay. Well, sure.
I would have said Crawl, but that's an obvious one. And also
that's also dipping into sci-fi.
Well, I mean, hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with the little genre-bending action. That's the way I look at it. Now, can you name any movie where the jester plays the hero or plays a pivotal role?
I mean, outside of some Xena episodes.
I'll even accept the Bard.
I mean, some of the Xena episodes, or Jockster
the Mighty?
Yeah.
But he really wasn't a jester. He was a really bad warrior.
That's fair.
You know?
That's fair.
He just happened to be a doofus.
No, do you have one in mind? Are you going to school us something proper?
Well, I mean, in terms of...
By the glassy-eyed look you have, I'm going to say no. You don't know one.
No, Boat mentioned one here. That's the one I came to mind was the Bard in Monty Python... You know, Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail. Sir Robin ran away, 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 away.
Well, he wasn't a pivotal.
He was in it, though. I guess what we're saying here is, you know, it just something just occurred to me. And what occurred to me was...
Train wreck!
Don't make your jester the hero of your game or movie. And with that in mind, let's have a look at the game this week. that puts the Jester in the role of hero. It's Black Lamp. It's the
sure
lamp,
is.
everybody. Let's talk about this game, the Brent.
All right.
First of all, had you ever played this one before?
Oh, gosh, no. No, I had not. In fact, I never even heard of it before.
It's got a cool name.
Which I'm kind of surprised about because I play these type of games. Not a ton, but some.
Well, this is a game that, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. Let's not go there. So, Black Lamp, a game that was released on multiple systems. It came out on the ST in '88. This is one of those special games, the Brent, that had, well, I'm getting there. Wait for it. This is one of those special games that actually started on 8-bit systems and then sort of Ric Flair strutted to the 16-bit system and then Flair flopped onto them.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes.
They got there and then somebody opened the door and they fell over. This came out on the ZX Spectrum, the C64, and the Atari 8-bits.
Yeah.
Which I believe was the origin. This was on the 8-bits, at least for the what they used to convert it to the ST. And of course, the Amiga. The ST and the Amiga got conversions of this, which that does amuse me. I'm just saying.
I
I
want to know what they saw as the big hit potential to port this to so many systems.
I'm going to explain it to you here in a moment.
School me.
So this was programmed by Graham Everett and in conjunction with his graphics man, Stephen Kane. Graham Everett actually did a game we covered not too long ago, Star Trek Rebel Universe. Another one of the games that he did is one that we've had a cup of tea with, which is Star Goose. Always liked that one. He did Prince, Nine Lives. The graphical artist, Stephen Kane, did most of those games, plus Army Moves. He did Badlands Pete, Knights of the Sky, and Hell Raider, which that sounds like the one we just should have played on this one. And, of course, this is one disc wonder here. So let's take a step back in time. Pretend you are European.
All right.
You're in the UK, fish and chips, the whole 9 yards. And this sort of game pops out on the ZX Spectrum.
Oh, okay.
All right? And you're thinking to yourself, okay, yeah, this is the kind of game I like. It's a budget title. You pay, a £7.99 or whatever, pick it up, take it home, and you get hours of exploration on your ZX Spectrum, right?
Oh, okay.
Minimal. It's okay, but I mean, you get a lot of, the point of it is, in the true European tradition, you get a lot of bang for your buck, and when I say bang, I mean a quiet, desperate bang that extends over several days. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there is if this is your thing, there is definitely replayability.
Yeah. So, with that said, this is a hit. You've got Atari 8-bit version again, which had the 8-bits had a following in Europe and whatnot.
Of course,
the C64. So you've hit the high points, right? And this game's a moderate hit on those systems. Here come the 16-bits. This is the big dogs.
Yes.
Okay, here come the big dogs. There's a bunch of these little dogs in the yard. And they're like, listen, this was a pretty popular title. Maybe people will want to play it on their shiny new system.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so a couple years go by, they port it to the newer systems.
Oh, you lost me there.
Hold on, and so here it is. It's on the systems, right? It's 88.
Oh, right? No.
So then you look at this thing, you're like, wait a minute. What is this doing here? And whoever ported is like, there it is, your old favorite. And that's the way these games, I think, get ported up. They're the old favorite, and they get ported up, and people are like into them. Because this game has ZX Spectrum written all over it. Like, I've played a ton of ZX Spectrum games, as you would imagine.
Sure.
And the control in this, the difficulty, and it's like they just juiced it slightly for the 8, which is the plan.
Yeah,
it's the way they do it.
Yeah, you got to up the graphics, got to up the sound.
Right. And so that's what you get now with the burial through. Let's get into what the game is, and then we'll get your first impressions.
Oh, okay. I don't think we've done burial yet, but I mean, this was a little comment on that.
Yeah.
That shows someone doesn't have good foresight. to think that something is something popular now will be popular in several years. That's bad forward thinking.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So the plot of this casts the player, and I don't know if you looked at the docs because you gotta, but I read the docs, and so I'll kind of fill in the blanks here. So you're in a kingdom called Allegoria. All right, yes, Allegoria, and the kingdom's sad. It's a depressing, like bummer of a kingdom, a sad sack kingdom, and there's a reason for that, because there are lamps. These magical lamps are missing, and the magical lamps are part of like the country's like crown jewels, basically, right?
Okay.
The family jewels, and so your guy is the jester, Jack the Jester, as a matter of fact. So Jack the Jester tumbles and bumbles and stumbles and juggles and sings and dances, all to delight and amuse the court. But when he stops doing his antics, the court gets depressed because the kingdom's super depressing. All right, this place sucks, okay? And so Jack the Jester sees an angle. He's like, wait a minute. I'm just a lowly moron, but I would like to hook up with the king's daughter. She's a hottie.
Yeah.
Okay? And jesters.
Yeah.
They're only human. They got needs. They like the ladies. But I mean, you don't have a lot of play when you wear that outfit with the bells.
Well,
you get those floppy feeties. They got little belts on. It's multicultural dates around like a doofus. No one's gonna respect the guy that dumps a beer over his head and hits himself with pies.
I don't know. I went to college.
Well, listen, maybe your wife respects that. Now that I think about it, and so this guy's like, I've got to work at anger. He goes, King, I would like your daughter's hand in marriage. The king's like, are you nuts? You're a geek. No one's I'm not gonna set her up with you. She's a princess. And the king's like, wait a minute, I got a cunning plan. If you can get all these lamps and put them back up on their appropriate shelves, which is what they are.
Yeah.
You can win my daughter's hand. All right? And the jester's like, the king thinks I'm a bubbling moron, but in actuality, I'm all man. Time to go to work. And that's how you do it. And by the way, added bonus. So you're thinking to yourself, you're a jester. What are you going to do to hurt a guy? All right? Well, just so happens you're in a bar with this wizard. This is in the book, by the way. I'm not making this up.
I believe you.
And the wizard's like, listen, geek, how about some magic fireball powers with this magical gimmick? Puts the gimmick on. It's like a magical waistband, or I don't know what it is. Bam, you got crotch fireballs to beat the band.
I'm pretty sure he's holding a wand of some sort, isn't he?
And so then you go off on your quest. Now with all that none of this stuff really shows up in the game.
None, zero.
So
I often wondered how the lamps got scattered in the first place.
What do you think of that as the background for the game we're about to speak about?
I mean, for a 1980s game, it's as good as any other.
Well, it's exactly the same as every other. I think it's what you meant to say. So when this booted up, what were your first thoughts?
The music on this is awesome.
Yeah, Green Sleeves.
Yeah.
Green Sleeves is the tune. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good music. And it should be. It's a 16-bit machine used to make music. Now, how do you think of it in terms of that?
No, I mean, it was good. I sat and I listened to it for quite a while.
Yeah.
It's long, too.
Yeah, it goes on. Boy, it never stops, come to think of it.
And then...
Thankfully, you can turn it off.
Well, why would you?
Well, annoyance.
Then I started the game and instantly lost my first guy in about 4 seconds. I was like,
well, I mean, it takes a while to get bombarded. You get a health ball that has to get out real fast.
It does. But I was struggling to get my, find all the controls, all that normal foofara, and then I just died. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of those. And then the journey began.
The journey of pain. Absolutely. So I'm going to explain to our radio listeners what we're looking at here. So this is a game played from a side perspective.
Yes.
With a butt. All right, we'll get to that. Yeah.
No, it's 100% side.
No, it's not, because your guy can spin around 360 degrees.
No, yeah, but the view doesn't change.
Right, okay. So we'll get to that. So this is a game where you are sometimes indoors, sometimes out in a courtyard.
Yeah, it's a flip screen.
And as you go, by the way, this is a flip screen on the Atari ST in 1988.
Yeah,
but it is. And as you go through the game, you have the ability to shoot with your fire button if you push in a direction. You have to be pushing somewhere to get the fire to go. You are encountering castle rooms and, as we mentioned, courtyards with ladders and stairs and doors and even lifts in a few places. It's all what you would expect, sort of NES level background graphics with like bricks and the insides of a castle.
But it looks
old.
Fine. It does. No, the graphics don't make it look old. The layout and what it's trying to do makes it look old. It's like they took a game from the 8-bit and put it on the 16-bit.
Right. It's funny how that works.
Well, I mean,
and so you've got Jack, who is a kind of I don't want to say pudgy, but he is. I mean, listen,
he's well-rounded.
I don't like to throw that around. You know what I mean? But he's a tubby guy with a magical belt buckle or something that shoots fireballs.
I'm pretty sure he has a wand.
And he can jump. He can climb ladders. He can climb up and down ladders and stairs, up lifts. And here's the big thing that especially around the gate, if you don't know about this, you're going to be baffled. This game, it doesn't just run on the side. You actually will move into the foreground and background. I mean, not really, but through doors.
It's a side perspective, you can face 4 directions. You can face looking into the background.
Right, but sometimes you'll come across doors that you just see a couple dots.
I understand.
Or in the background. So when you're playing this, most games, let's talk about, like, for example, Mario, right?
Okay.
Mario has a left angle, a left side, and a right side. And never do you, in the old ones, do you see him look at the camera straight dead on.
Yeah.
And you never see his hiney from behind straight on. Not in this game. This game, your guy will rotate completely around. Sounds great, right? It's not. No. Because when you're trying to shoot the 800 billion creatures that come careening down at you, you'll find yourself looking stupidly at yourself where you can't shoot and you get mauled. But that's how the game works. So sometimes you'll move up ladders that are behind you, and you just push. You have to swing your guy all the way towards the ladder, and then you can push up, and he'll climb up or down. And sometimes you have to come towards the camera, so you have to swing your guy till he's looking at you, position yourself in between 2 dots, and then come in that way.
Rotate.
This was I thought I didn't like this for this game, but this is something this is a staple of the ZX Spectrum. There's a lot of this crap in those.
Sure.
What did you think about this as a choice?
As a mechanic, it's fine. As it is implemented, it's horrible.
Yes, it is.
And the thing is, this game didn't need to do this. They tried to make the game area feel large while still feeling like you're going through the rooms of a castle or the outside of a town.
Yeah.
And I get that, okay? I get what they're trying to do. They want the game to have many, many screens, but they don't want you just walking left for, an eon to see them all.
Right.
So that concept is fine. The implementation of having your guy rotate it's not poorly done. I mean, it's done as well as it can be done, but when you are working with 1 button and 4 directionals, which is what this is, that's no good. You have to be able to have more control to be able to snap into that left or forward facing or background facing angle and go.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in this game, and it leads to much frustration.
Yes, it does. So as you run through the game, don't think that you're not continuously hounded by hordes and hordes of enemies. Let's talk about these enemies, Brent. I got a list here of your enemies. So you've got swarms of dragonflies and wasps. I mean, they're swarms.
Yeah.
Then you got pretty impressive looking vampire bats that come out. They look cool. You got werewolves. You've got buzzards, crows, goblin warriors, slime witches. By the way, all this stuff doesn't just come out. It also shoots. Slayers, imps, and then ultimately, when you go after these the Black Lance, you're going to be encountering dragons.
Yeah.
These are those don't roam around. But you're going to be encountering all these things. Now, that sounds like an impressive array of villainy. The problem is
it's a fine cast.
Yeah.
Cast, and they all look good.
Yeah. The problem is they're all on you all the time, and relentlessly with never ceasing attacks.
Yep.
Get into it.
And this is ultimately what paints this game into a corner.
Yeah.
The enemy, there is no enemy placement. The placement is you're on a screen, so are they.
Yeah.
It's not like the orcs only show up in the taverns or the bats only show up in the basement. Every enemy has the potential to show up on every screen, which is stupid. But beyond that stupidity, almost every enemy has a projectile, and the ones who don't will fly their bodies into you. And
yes.
And the one nice thing, the one thing that makes this at least playable in some degree is if someone shoots a projectile, themselves touching you does not hurt you.
Right.
It's only the projectile that hurts you. The problem with this is the enemies will walk through walls on the left and the right of the screen, both at the bottom, in the middle, at the top. It does not matter. And instantly start shooting at you.
Yeah.
And killing them gains you nothing
because
there's always another one right behind you. And you might be thinking, oh, that sounds fast-paced and thrilling. No, it sounds exhausting because it is.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like you mentioned, like you have to leave and come in and go out certain areas. These guys can just come right to the wall.
Phase right through.
So the way this game works with Jack, of course, you've got a life bar. And it's a generous life bar.
Generous.
It has to be.
Yeah.
And you've also, since you met the wizard in the bar, by the way, I found out his name is Pratt Weasel.
Of course, that's what I thought it was.
Pratt Weasel, the sorcerer. He granted you the ability to have 5 lives, okay? I love this in the manual. Lucky Commodore 64 users get 7 lives. Like, why do they get more? I don't know, but that's not cool. You can also augment your energy with various items like a turkey, the non-edible looking turkey that hovers around
the turkey looks fine. It's the ham leg that looks
rough,
little tough.
You can also pick up extra items in the game.
Yep.
Jewels, that gives them magical armor. Which you need the armor, but really here's a secret. There's also other things. There's horns and
you can you pick up items that make you move a little faster,
right.
Shoot a little faster, or become invincible.
Right. And also, if you get enough stuff, you can have better fire. Your spell becomes more effective. Now, I watched a fellow play because there was no way I was getting anywhere in this game. I tried hard. We'll get to how well I did, but I did watch a guy play this for 4 hours on YouTube. God bless this man.
He does 10 loops.
And so he had some interesting. He mentioned some stuff here that I wanted to talk about. So. Once you get all the lamps in the black lamp, the first 8 levels, like it is, that you win the girl, and then you get 100,000 points, I believe it is. There's a lot of backtracking in this game, a lot of it, which again, it's very ZX like in its delivery. So you're going, and the guy, the 4 hour guy mentions like, listen, I have a 3D map of this game. I wrote. He goes, if you don't have a map, you're totally boned. And I watched him play it, and I thought to myself, there's a 0% chance I could get any of this stuff done. I spent a couple of hours trying to figure out what was happening in this game. I did come across lamp. But you can only carry one lamp.
Yeah.
And then you've got to go to the lamp depository and put it on there, You know, it reminds me of my desk at work with all the lava lamps on it. It's a very similar situation. They're a lot easier to get. Just go to Walmart. He also mentioned there's no end to the game. He goes, once you get after level 8, you've got to kill 8 dragons for each of the 8 lamps plus a colored one. So it's a much more difficult. He says he found out that there's a room in the forest that allows quick one-way transportation to 30 locations. That's great. But that does mean that every time you need to go somewhere quick, you've got to run. And by the way, not an easy run to go all the way to the woods to find this one point, and it gets real old. At the end scene, it's just a picture of your geek being hugged on by the busty the busty princess. The bustiness has got to be in there. And then the
the 80s.
The thing flips over. This does support 1 or 2 player hot seat. Can you imagine that? Oh my God! When I was watching people play this, this is what I developed too. It seems like the best strategy on this is just never stop and never even attempt to kill anything unless they're right in your way. You just barrel through nonstop. Don't stop for a second. And also, you have to get good at the controls because most of the death is dealt when you're standing there spinning around like a top in a vain attempt to figure out which way to go or how to get up and down a ladder or a door.
Well, and if that was the only problem, that's something that if you play the game long enough, you're going to get better at. And I won't say that I played this enough to become good at the controls.
Yeah.
But I did play the game long enough to become competent at the controls. And I did not complete a full shelf, but I think I got to 6.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Wow, you got way better than I did.
And that's with a black lamp because I found that the dragon lamp, it was, first of all, the background, let's back up a little bit. The lamps are all different colors, and they are small in compared to the rest of the things in the game. Yeah. I don't mean like they're minuscule, but they're small enough that if you just go to a screen for a second, you won't notice them. You have to actually look at the screen and see where they're at. And they have a terrible way of blending them into the backgrounds, which is super annoying. So you will go into a room and you will not think there's a lamp there and leave. And with the dragon, at least, the dragon always has a black lamp. So when you kill a dragon, you're 100% guaranteed to get the black lamp. So I had the black lamp. I think the black lamp was the very first one I got to a shelf. Problem number 2, you carry one lamp at a time. The shelf is always, you almost always find yourself backtracking 3 or 4 screens to get back to the shelf. And when you have a destination in mind, if you have a lamp and you're trying to get back to the shelf, that has you doing a lot of left to right or right to left travel. And those are the absolute worst because every single screen you will have someone appear on the other side. Some of these screens do scroll, and those are the peak of annoyance because if someone spawns in behind you, you will get blasted all the way across. So you have to turn around and kill them, which just means more things are going to spawn, and it's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And it's not a fun vicious cycle because you can't overcome this problem, and it's a design problem. Unless you are super good at the controls and you never take those long walks.
Yeah.
You always come in and out of every door you see because when you first walk into a screen, all the enemies are gone and they populate the screen.
Yeah.
So if you continuously go in and out of doorways, you can reset the enemies, which makes those long travels doable, survivable. But it's not fun.
No.
And that's the biggest sin on this game. I think the concept, going out finding the lamps, is a fine one. I think the controls, although not intuitive at all.
No, controls bad.
They aren't the worst thing I've ever seen. And you can
high praise.
You can learn to deal with them. The maze-like structure, it's random. It's all random. Nothing flows. There is no, I'm in the castle now. I'm going to go through this door and I'll be in the courtyard. There is none of that. It's all absolutely random.
Yeah.
So you can't get a good mental image of where you are at. It's the flaws. All those are flaws.
Yeah.
But the absolute killer thing, all of that can be overcome if the game wasn't just so darn cheap.
Yeah.
And that, it takes all of the fun factor out. It takes all of the gameplay out. There is no gameplay. You walk from one edge of the screen to the other. You don't stop to try to kill things. There's no point because it's just going to come right back. It's a complete buzzkill.
Listen, I'm going to, if I may further beat down this game, all right? This is the answer to the question, why do I not bring a lot of these 8-bit games up? Okay, because guess what? The world changed a lot.
Yes.
Between 1982 to 83 and 84 and 1988. Okay. When I saw stills of this game, I was like, hey, this looks pretty good.
It does. It looks great.
Look.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good enough.
But when you play it, it moves like butt. Okay?
Well, it moves on grids.
Well, I mean, also, it's just, so, you ever played a game called, like, Jumpman, for example?
Yeah.
You ever played a game called Donkey Kong?
Yeah.
Now, what do these have in common? Smooth jump and platform to platform action, okay? If we're going to play games like this, I don't want stuttery
second rate, yeah.
I don't want, here's something else I don't want. Enough with the flip screen at the guy's face. That's cute when you're playing that on a C64.
Yeah.
But I want, and it's not like the Atari ST is known for its big time scrolling. But I mean, I could even live with this. But I mean, it makes it look ancient when you do this. Okay.
It does.
I want, if you're gonna have a game like this, I mean, I like Miner 2049, a perfect example of a platform game done correctly. And you can have all the other crap in here, but do the platforming correctly. And what they did was they literally ported this game in its entirety. And I mean, when I say that, I don't mean like use the code, but they ported the way it played on a ZX Spectrum.
They didn't upgrade it at all.
Because that's how those games play on there. But this is the Atari ST. I want smooth jumping.
Yeah.
Also, whoever thought it was a good idea to keep in the third dimension of moving back and forth, and I'm sure they did that because that's the way it was on the original, and they wanted to have the same aesthetic. That's a non-starter. And the biggest gripe I have is this has 8-bit enemies. Those old tried and true enemies just stuck them staggering out.
Yeah.
They never stop. That stuff was passé. I hated it when it was out the first time, but I can excuse it because you're working on limited hardware. The Amiga, the Atari ST having this, and I'm not just getting on the Atari, I'm getting on the Amiga too. You're gonna do this on these two fine machines that have a lot of jack, but this is what we get. You know, the enemies coming nonstop, big swarms. They're overlapping each other. You know, they're coming out of the walls. Crap. I hated that. And what makes it worse is I can get past the graphics, which, by the way, aren't great, but they're pretty.
They're passable.
They're okay.
They're colorful.
But I'm telling you, you go home with your... And this was, by the way, I should mention, now get this. I'm glad I thought about this. So this game, a lot of Atari people have it. Why, you say? This game was included in the Atari ST Power Pack with the 20 other games. Is this the game you want to have as your pack-in for your fancy schmancy new machine? Hell no. If I may be so bold, if I may work a little blue, you don't want that. You want games that show off what this powerful machine can do. You don't want retreads. It's like taking an old black and white movie and colorizing it, but it's still all stuttery and crappy. It's in like low res. No good. I hate I don't kill games. I try not to kill them. But this game infuriated me because this is just another game I played on the Atari ST where and the Amiga does it too. I don't want to pick on the ST. I hate when they take these old games, they kind of push them forward, they put the tiniest bit of paint on them, and like, here you go, 16-bit glory. It's not 16-bit. If I wanted to play 8-bit games, I'd go play the 8-bit computer. Yeah. Give me the good stuff, Brent.
Yeah, and the other thing that's on full display here is there is no design in this game. They don't plan out rooms, they don't plan out maps, they don't plan out enemy AI. It's all just 8-bit. Throw it on the screen. Let the player make up their own fun.
Yeah.
Suffer their own fate. It's really unfortunate. I
wouldn't be as mad if it wasn't for the fact that it looked like I had a lot of promise. I like the name. I like the look of it. So I was just so disappointed when I played it, Brent.
And there are games, modern-ish games, that have this concept that do it really well. Addams Family comes to mind.
Yeah.
Where you still have a good-looking game that has levels that are thought out, that are planned, that take you through a well-put-together map that has not the same exact concept, not get something and bring it back, but it still rescue people at different places.
Yeah.
And that works. So it's not like this game couldn't work. It's that they didn't want it to work. They wanted to just get the quick buck by adding another 8 bits to it.
You know, if you think about it, Boat loves Addams Family, but if you think about it, Addams Family is sort of like the hybrid game of an 8 and 16-bit system like combination, because it's got scrolling, but it's also got some change of screens. But I mean, what does Addams Family have? It does have sort of a random enemy thing. It's got solid jumping
controls,
and it's fair, and you don't feel like you're controlling a tank that you're trying to jump from platform to platform. Yeah. I got some review action here, the brand, if you'll indulge me.
All right, let's hear it.
So the people over at ATARI Mania, brother, gave this a 7.6. I looked at the magazine scores. ASM gave this a 92, a stun. CBG gave it a 90. A Games Machine gave it an 86. Ace an 81. These are all the ST version, by the way.
Yeah.
Happy Computer 77 and PowerPlay gave this a 65. I don't agree with any of those scores.
No, I mean,
even when these scores were brand new, I would have been appalled.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to see the checks cleared.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I know how they got these scores.
Yeah,
because
they played
these people played these on the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah, they played the old one and said, "Man, this game was great back then. Now it's all pretty."
Yeah. I don't. Again. It's a 16-bit system. Show me the money that I just paid in this sucker. So those things, they came to praise. And I think all those scores are way too high.
I do.
We
agree.
We did get a Discord review here from one poor soul. The intrepid, the ever-popular Pajako chimes in. From a concept point of view, I really like this game. Platform exploration while taking out medieval baddies as you go. I remember seeing screenshots of this in magazines, thinking how cool this looked and how awesome it would be to play. Well, it's not. This game is unfairly difficult. The controls are clunky. The map layout is bad. There are doors you can walk through and fall for a massive damage hit. The onslaught of baddies...
I never had that happen. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm saying I never had it happen.
The onslaught of baddies can move through walls and is never ending, and you are almost always taking hits, especially when you are climbing down ladders and you can't defend yourself.
Yep.
There are enemies that can shoot you, but you can't shoot them. By the way, also enemies can shoot you off while they're off screen. I should mention that. On top of that, there are lamps everywhere, and you have no idea what lamp you need or already have collected. It isn't even a case of the ST version being the bad one, as they are all equally poor.
Yes.
However, the graphics are good. Sound is either a loop of funky green sleeve rendition that will make you go insane, or basic sound effects, which are serviceable, but nothing to write home about. Feeling like two games that got smashed together in a design by committee accident, definitely not one for me. 5 out of 10. I think that's fine.
I think that's generous.
Yeah, I want to mention, I did look this up on the eBay to see what kind of action. I was actually quite curious what this was getting. I saw box copies of this available for $49 and $31, and I saw discs that were selling around $10, and I did see these selling somewhere in the $30 range, the Brent.
That is insane.
So that right there is a little thing we call Black Freaking Land. Now, I want to talk about a few things before we head out here, the Brent, if you'll indulge me. Next week, as you listen to this, it'll be the same week. I guess it is the same week already, come to think of it. Let's just say the date. February, boy, I'm off the map here. November 24th, 2023. It's all going down at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, myself and the Brent will be here for a 10 to 12 hour mega event. It's the Thanks for Giving Marathon, an all-day gaming event where me and you sit in this very room, kick back, relax, probably have some cold ones, and play 10 to 12 hours of gaming, maybe more if we're feeling particularly funky that day.
8 to 12, but good try.
And it will be a special Brent event because you've got some kind of crazy gimmick for picking the games you're going to play. We're going to be playing games in all sorts of systems, probably all sorts of different genres, the whole 9 yards. Please, I beseech you, check out the Thanks for Giving Marathon. Tell them what the Thanks for Giving Marathon is all about, the Brent.
It's just a way of saying thanks for all the support you've not only shown this show, but all the shows in the Amigos umbrella, and for giving for the charity, for those that attend Boat Fest, or for those who frequent us live. It's just a way of saying thanks for all of your support throughout the year. It's not a fundraiser. It's not a sub drive. It's not a donation request. if you want to do those things, that's fine. But it is just us trying to be entertaining for the day after Thanksgiving.
Basically, come hang out with a couple pals, play some video games. It's going to be awesome. By the way, I want to mention our good buddy Dave Velociraptor. He mentioned this, and I have to laugh. He says, I had this game, Black Lamp, in the Power Pack, and I hated it. But lots of people seem to like it. That seems to be what I've been reading, too.
Yep.
I want to mention our next ST show, Brent, will be bouncing out. I believe it's going to be Sunday, the 17th of December. And it will be, guess what, Brent? Do you want to talk about what this next show is going to be? You don't know, do you?
Yeah.
I'll talk about it because guess what? It's going to be a Christmas game of some sort. A Christmas game. We're going to do some themed games this year for the holidays. We never get to do them. And so we're going to take it upon ourselves to find a Christmas game to play. Maybe we'll get to be a committee to pick us a good one.
Absolutely.
So we'll be doing a Christmas game. But in the meantime, next week, please join us for Thanksgiving Marathon, where I'm certain we'll play not only games on the Atari ST, but probably some Coco, some Amiga, some C64, some arcade. Who knows? It's a Brent mystery.
Well, it's always fun when it's a Brent mystery.
Correct. So, any final thoughts, Brent, before we take this thing to the house?
Nope.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. And remember, have you played?
No, I haven't.
Well, start playing your Atari then.
The Atari ST show is made possible by contributions from listeners like you. Patreon supporters help choose the games we play, receive exclusive magnets, and get access to the Amigos Retrogaming Discord server. Visit patreon.com/AtariST show if you'd like to support the show and join our community.